Hi, everyone. This is your girl, Nikita, and welcome to the Perfectly Powerful You podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Perfectly Powerful You podcast. I'm your host, Nikita, and I trust, hope, and expect that you all are having a super stupendous day. At the level of fact, I'm having an awesome day. It's been a couple weeks since I have seen you, spoken with you, chatted with you, been in conversation with you. However, I am so happy that you're here with me today. I'm happy to be sitting down with you today and feeling very inspired to pick up not necessarily where we last left off, but just where I feel inspired to be able to share and help you guys not only navigate your beautiful life, your growing dreams, your prospering vitality, and to just help journey with you on this beautiful adventure we call life. Today, I'm sharing with you just some things that have been inspiring me about when life doesn't necessarily go as expected. And I find that sometimes it can be very easy, I'll say up until now, to nurse and rehearse hurt in our life and to really acknowledge when we had and we were aspiring to achieve something that may not have gone exactly as we were expecting. It can be very easy to throw ourselves a pity party, to continue to just lean into the woe is me, things always happen to me, that kind of mentality. And being in this work has really inspired me and allowed me to see beyond the what feels like the limiting ideas that I used to hold when certain things and certain circumstances arise and they just throw me for a loop. And I'm sure that you've had your own moments. I'm sure that we've all been there where things are going pretty smoothly. And then something feels like there's a hitch and just like a little something that just, you're just like, why is this happening? So I'm sure you're bringing to mind something that's happened in your life that feels like it's just not maybe your ideal circumstance. But what I would love to offer you and invite you is to see where the nugget of learning and or love can be present in these moments when life might be throwing you a little bit of a curveball. So, if you're interested in continuing to live into just having even more gratitude for life, regardless of circumstances, let's continue on with this podcast. And before we get started, I would love to just thank you and have so much gratitude for all of you guys for being here today, for continuing to support me in this journey, in the podcast, in my coaching business now. For those of you who have not heard, I am now a certified life mastery consultant. And so I have Perfectly Powerfully You coaching, and I am taking people through various exercises and workbooks and journeys that allow you to be either in group calls, individual, working with me one-on-one. So we can do vision workshops, set you up with a strategy session, and get you started on living the dream that you would love to be living. If you'd love for me to be your coach, I'm so honored to be part of your journey. And if this interests you, please don't hesitate to send me an email at perfectlypowerfullyu@gmail.com. Direct message me wherever you're at, and I look forward to chatting with you. For whatever platform that you guys are on, I'm so grateful if you guys like and subscribe because it really helps in building this community and helping stretch this beautiful content further and just being able to continue to create inspiring works to help not only you, but others, people in your life. So regardless, so thankful. So let's get started. So in this past little bit, I have been experiencing what I thought would be, man, just like, things just like going my way. I'm like, yeah, this is going great. I have a vision for my future. This is going to happen. It's going to be awesome. And this and this and this. And then there are certain things that come up where I'm just like, okay, all right, this is not exactly what I'd prefer, not exactly what I was anticipating. And the tool that I have been using that has really helped me navigate these things is looking for, I call it the silver lining. I love looking for not spiritually bypassing but looking for just the goodness that I can see in every situation. There is a difference between like blocking out everything and just saying la la la, everything is good, love and light, and saying everything is great, and also just being able to acknowledge that things sometimes don't go exactly the way that we expect, but we can still learn something good from this, learn from the experience, and move on. And so this helps us where if there's certain things coming up in your life, we're just like, okay, I can see this is pretty rigorous work right now. Good job for me for just showing up in the best way that I know how, and then being able to move on with the next action step that serves my highest good, that serves good for others, and just being continuous in this journey of exploration, of being the journey and living a life that you really love living, regardless of circumstances. So I've been listening to podcasts and motivational books, especially by Mary Morrissey and Bob Proctor. They are one of my most inspirational people. It's also where I do a lot of my and gain a lot of my content, a lot of my knowledge. It's through the Brave Thinking Institute with Mary Morrissey. So grateful for all of the teaching. It is a wealth of knowledge, let me tell you. And one of the things that I have been listening to most is, at least lately, is standing firm when your world is shaking. Because sometimes when you're in the flow of things, things are great. But life is ever for a freer, even more expanded version of itself by means of itself. And we are part of this oneness. And even when things are going great, of course, don't get me wrong, we love when things are going great. We love when it's smooth, easy peasy. And things are actually meant to come up that are going to rattle us a little bit, that make us uncomfortable. And this is for the greater expansion of ourselves, not only our human self, our spiritual self, everything, because it's who we're becoming during all the lessons that we're taking in, during just the learnings that we have, and all of the tools and resources that we are gaining in our big old brains of ours to be able to utilize in order to grow from all of the experiences that we get to experience because we're living this life. And I remind myself that when things become a little rattled and I react to situations as opposed to responding, again, one thing that I love to do, I'll always say it, just pause, breathe, take a moment to just recognize that one, props for actually noticing what you're noticing. That, okay, I realize that this may not be ideal. I may have not shown up perfectly. This person may not have shown up perfectly. It's all good because on a spiritual level, everything really is all good. Love never leaves a place. And I know that if something is coming up in my life, I attracted it for whatever reason is inside of my highest growth. I recognize, I take ownership. I attracted this. So, this taking ownership and just noticing what you're noticing allows for far more power and empowerment to be present in a situation. And it is okay that we do not show up perfectly all the time, that people don't show up perfectly all the time because we're just learning. That's also the fun of it. And even though it may not in the present moment when we're currently experiencing it be the most feel good, there can be a myriad of different emotions, and that's okay. It's really, really actually ideal to let them be present, to let all the emotions just circulate, allow them to flow through you and flow out of you. Holding on to them and nursing them just keeps them stored up in your body for far longer. So, oftentimes, when I'm in this moment and again, taking, breathing, pausing allows for an interruption of what I'm actually feeling, taking space for myself in whatever way that I know how and feel safe to in that moment allows for me to just, again, notice what I'm noticing. And it might be feelings, it might be thoughts, it might be both. It usually is both because thoughts affect our feelings. And it's in that space where I can say, okay, I recognize that this is here, just breathing through it. I was like, what can I take from this moment where I can not spiritually bypass, not ignore and say that whatever's happening in this moment may not be the most ideal. That's fine. I just know that if this is here for me, it's here for me for a reason. And I honor and respect that when things are uncomfortable, it means I am growing. And I love using that because it really is. It takes the power and puts it right back here. Life is no longer happening to me or to you, it's happening for us. It's happening as us. As we're thinking and being and energetically vibrating, we are sending out signals and they're coming back to us. So if we are on the verging edge of growth, uncomfortable things are going to come up because it's like the universe sending you signals. All right, you're up leveling now. Let's take you through this little test in life, however big it is. Sometimes I find the bigger it feels, the more transformation is coming out of it once you surpass it. But sometimes when you're right in the middle of it, you may not recognize it for what it is until you become more aware of what's actually going on. So, again, first breathing, honoring the fact that you're there and just learning what you can in the moment and doing your best not to rehearse the hurt. Because again, the only person who's ever really going to be feeling all of this hurt is you. And when you're rehearsing, she did this, he did this happened to me, why me, that kind of thing, like you're welcome to. It is totally up to you to be able to rehearse those thoughts, but the only thing that it really serves is continuing to cause you internal pain. And if you would love to do that, that's okay. Throw yourself as many pity parties for how long as you would love. If that feels like it is serving you, no problem. But when you're ready to let that go and to invite space within your body for something greater, again, pause, understand, recognize, and honor yourself for saying, actually, yes, this person or I didn't show up very great. And I do recognize that I was hurt in the situation or they were hurt in the situation. And you know what? I'm human. They're human. We are welcome to show up in this way because we're still learning. Just like babies, we learn to walk by falling down. And the more that we practice, we become walkers eventually. And we become the people who recognize that we're not perfect, that it's okay to not be perfect, that it's actually such a great thing that we get to learn and become the people who understand and recognize situations for what they are, to glean the knowledge and the love that's actually always present for our highest growth, and to then let it go. Now, something that I learned from a lot of the videos that I've been listening to is that we build our muscles spiritually the same way that we build our physical muscles. We pick up heavy weight and we start off small because if our muscles aren't strong enough to pick up 50 pounds because we haven't stretched that muscle and built that muscle up, we're not going to be able to lift up 50 pounds. It's too much for us. But what we can do is we can gradually get there. And it's the same thing with our spiritual muscles. And that comes from our conditions and circumstances and events that happen in our life. We pick up our physical, like weights, and then we realize that we are actually far stronger than the weight that we're picking up. So we start off with 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, and we're able to do that no problem. We know that maybe we're not at the 50-pound stage yet, but we know that if we keep practicing and picking up these heavier and heavier weights, gradually over time with dedication, with practice, with just love for ourselves because we want to. We wouldn't be picking up the weight if we didn't want to become stronger. And that's the same with our mental and spiritual muscles, that there are circumstances that absolutely will be coming in like up into our life. It is not an if, it's a when. And as you are progressing and continuing to learn and grow and evolve, the version of you that's in your beautiful body right now, because your spirit, wherever it's at in its journey, wants to grow. That's why you feel the pull to expand and succeed and grow in your life. And so when we're in our flow state, we're good. Everything's great. We're just going. We're just allowing life to present itself with opportunities. And yes, we hold the dream and vision in our mind of greatness, of success, of love, of peace, of joy, all of this, of course. But that is not all that's going to be present in our life, because contrast adds clarity. When we're all peachy keen every single day and we never understand what it means to pick up something heavier, i.e., have a situation where we feel betrayed or that we are doing the betraying, that we don't show up perfectly, that other people don't show up perfectly, that is picking up our spiritual weights. And it's then how we choose to want to show up in these situations and how we choose to think about certain situations. Because, again, like I said before, we can rehearse and nurse our hurt, and we can allow that to fester inside of us. And then we can say, this happened to me, and continue on and just allow it to be bottled up and store a lot of energy and space inside our very beautiful bodies that hear and feel everything that you are thinking and feeling. And so every time something comes up, you can either rehearse or nurse it, or you can just let it go. And so as you're building these weights, and when things just like feel like they're piling on top of you, just know that one, it's the way you're thinking about it that really transforms the way you're going to take action steps to serve your highest good. So when things are coming up, no worries, honor them. Again, it might feel rigorous in the moment because, well, when we're deep and we're just like our heads are down, like we're in it, and it can feel like things are happening to us. That's okay. But just know that breathing and pausing and taking a look at the bigger picture, that this is just one moment in the great expanse of your continuous progression of life. This is your spiritual and energetic heavy lifting. This means that if this was not in your life, you would not be ready to grow. So when you're building your like physical muscles, you know that you're ready to move on to the higher weight because, dude, things are so easy for you. Like you are now at 25 pounds or 30 pounds. And you're like, man, if I lifted up this 5-pound weight, it'd be so easy. I could do it no problem. Oh, but now it's 30 pounds, a little bit more rigorous, but look at me go. Spiritually, that's what's happening. You've had past circumstances, situations, events that have occurred in your life that have caused pain and worry and anxiety and fear within you. And you know what you did? You grew from it. And that is why you are the person you are today. And if that same thing happened to you now, that happened way back then when you thought you weren't going to overcome it, you'd be like, ah, man, this is so easy. Like, look at me go. Like, things are easy breezy. But because we're in this work together, because you're a spiritual being having this human experience, your physical body, your spiritual body wants to grow. Like, you know that there's a part of you that will not stay content for too long, that you can only do the same thing over and over and over again for so long until you want to grow. You want to get better. You want to master this. You want to free yourself from the pain. You want to let go of betrayal. You want to surrender to the fullness that is within you because that is the essence of you. And so I just wanted to offer you this and shine a little light and perspective on the fact that things are coming into your life. Energetically, they're vibrating at the same level, because if the circumstance isn't in your life, whatever it is in your life, it wouldn't be here unless you're ready to level up. So, for whatever you're experiencing right now, I honor and love you for just the fact that you are a badass. It is so powerful what you are doing right now. And for however way you're showing up, even if that wasn't perfectly, Just the very fact that you're trying and you're continuing to go, you're offering yourself love and compassion. You're offering others love and compassion because just as you would want that for yourself from another, others want that for you. But even then, the only person who is really ever going to feel the love and compassion is you. But it shows up in your actions, it shows up in the words you say and the people you talk to. And the more that you do that, the more you energetically align yourself with this compassion and love and gratitude, even in the darkest of times, the more you say to life, I see what you're doing here. I'm not spiritually bypassing saying love and light, love and light, love and light. I don't see the darkness. The darkness doesn't exist because, of course, it does. It's here for your highest growth and it doesn't want to cause you pain in order to keep you down. It actually wants to enlighten and add clarity to your life so that you realize how strong you actually really are and how empowered you are to look at the situation for what you make it out to be and to learn and grow from it to become even more in alignment with the higher self that is seeking to emerge in your life. In one of the videos that I was also listening to, I haven't personally listened to and or watched the movie The Adjustment Bureau, but from the knowledge that I gained, it's about when there are unseen forces that are happening in our life to when you are on a certain path, there are things that are going to come up to interrupt your current journey if you're off your path. And sometimes that looks like things that you do not want to have happen to you. But when we're taking a look, and as I mentioned before, taking a look at the bigger picture, we're not seeing for things as they are just in this moment. We totally can. And that's when we kind of have our heads down in the sand and we're just like putting on the cap of woe is me, things are happening to me. But again, this is just a moment in your life and you're still learning and growing and continuing to live this life. And eventually, whatever's happening now is past. There's only ever the present now. But there are unseen forces, again, in your highest interest, in your highest good. And it's part of the energetic self that is irradiating from you. It's helping beat your heart. It's helping to fill and release the air in your lungs. It's literally like when you cut yourself, it's the one that helps you heal. There's energy all around us that is helping life grow, helping you grow. And when you're on your path, there are things happening that again are going to feel like they're happening to you. But what I would love to offer you is that there are unseen forces, just like in the Adjustment Bureau, that are helping you become your better self, become your highest self, where they are happening and they are happening in favor of getting you back on your path, the path where you are meant to go and meant to be. And you know this. And again, some things are going to come up and they feel like, man, this is so like in alignment with me, feeling often like so awesome. Like people are just like so supportive. Money comes to me and flows to me every day in increasing ways all the time. I have a loving relationship. I have a successful business. I'm just like so in love with life and life is amazing. And then there are certain things that come up that just like kind of put like a little kink in this amazing, awesome life that is still amazing and awesome. It just might not look that way. But this is to help you know that when circumstances arise, trust that they're actually always in your highest good. Again, even when they don't feel like it. And this is what I have been practicing even more and even more, that circumstances will just always be that, an appearance for what you are making it out to be. They still remain the same, but they can also change depending on your perspective and how you're thinking about it. And as I've been learning to surrender and let go of things, I've learned that we can actually relax even more into the flow of life. That, again, this comes with a lot of breathing, a lot of just taking space and time. That this idea of like forcing or pushing against things really is like your refusal to allow and welcome the goodness into your life. And let me reframe it in a different way. No matter what you are doing, just know that you are doing the best you can from where you are with what you have. And circumstances are here to offer you a chance to be able to grow those. And the unseen forces are helping you in order to achieve these. And when you know that you are just doing the best you can from where you are with what you have, you know that you don't actually have to show up any other way other than in the perfect way you know how. And when you become more in alignment with the gratitude of, man, like I recognize that this is not ideal. And I recognize that no matter what, this is still occurring in my life or has occurred in my life. And to allow this idea of surrender, it means that you're not pushing away or pushing against what is happening and closing your eyes and shutting yourself off, saying, okay, this is just not happening right now. I'm just going to ignore it. The darkness doesn't exist. Like love and light, love and light. I keep saying that, but sometimes I'll say up until now, that was definitely me. I just ignored the fact that bad things, or rather what I perceived were bad things, were happening. And then I just wanted to focus on the good. And yes, to a certain extent, focusing on the good is actually a really excellent idea. Having gratitude for life, being able to energetically align yourself with the fact that life is happening and it's actually something really good is happening. It is called a thing called life. That, yes, things may not be always ideal, and it's okay to just like revel in the fact that you don't always feel good, that pain is allowed to exist in your body. You just don't have to put it on and make it your own and just be like, like pain is me, I am pain, anxiety, and fear. It's just honoring the fact that, okay, interesting. I'm noticing that my body is responding and or reacting in a way saying, I don't feel good. This is an uncomfortable feeling right now. And oh, interesting. I wonder why this is coming up. What is there more for me to glean from this? And this is what I mean by surrendering and honoring circumstances. It means that things are coming up and it might be triggering and it might just evoke certain feelings, emotions, and thoughts that are they're seeking to emerge and allow you to learn and grow for yourself. And so when you're ignoring them, you're basically ignoring a part of you that really wants to grow. And it will always be there until you choose to acknowledge it and say, oh, I actually see you pain. I feel you uncomfortableness. I honor you anxiety for being here. And I realize there might be some past history here. And for right now, depending on where you're at, you can choose to honor it and just see where it's coming from and just say, I see you. And I just want to know that even though this is here right now, I don't want to just like ignore you because I know you're always going to be here. But I just want to let you go and say, I want to know that I'll hold your hand and be here for you. But I also know that there's something even better here for me as well. And I choose to put my direction and my intention and my energy into feeding the faith and that something is actually good here for me. So it's both acknowledging and honoring that something not really great, like something uncomfortable is happening right now, but at the same time, it's can only be here for as long as you would love to make it here for. And it may keep coming up because there are certain cycles that we go through that until we've really, really learned something, life is gonna keep offering you the same. You're gonna be like, why does this feel similar? Like, I feel like I've done this before. It's probably because you have. And surrendering to it means that you're just honoring it for the fact that it exists in your life anyways. Ignoring it's not going to help. It's just going to just like push it off to the side until it really, really wants your attention. And so when it comes up, breathing through it really helps. And then just realizing that it's here to teach you something, it's here to give you a gift of awareness. And that's going to help with your greater good and expansion of self. And when we know that we're just spiritual beings having this human experience, that we get to experience the vibrancy of a full spectrum of emotions, having love and gratitude and appreciation and compassion is amazing. Yes, these are all high frequency, high vibration feelings that we would all love to have. And we do get to experience for however in the fullness that we would love to experience and welcome it. But it also means that when we're experiencing these, we welcome the uncomfortable emotions because they're there to add contrast. So thank you all so much for sitting down with me here today. I honor you for the journey that you're on, for any circumstances or things that you're experiencing right now that may feel very rigorous. I honor you and empower you with just the love and light that you are so deserving of and have with you right here, right now. I appreciate that you guys sit down with me. I am so grateful to be able to continue to share these beautiful words of wisdom for however and how much you take away from it. But I'm so happy to be able to continue to work with you on this and be a part of your lives in an ever expanding and growing way. For those of you who would love to have a fantastic coach in your life, I am now certified as a life mastery consultant and so happy to journey with any of you who would love to take your greatness and success even further in getting comfortable and honoring your longing and discontent while also seeing a bright vision for the dream that you would love to live and have in your life right now. So if it sounds awesome to you to have someone to help coach you along the way with helping you live a life that you'd actually love to live, feel free to direct message me, to contact me, and I would love to be able to support you in this, in whatever program feels amazing for you. Until then, I trust, hope, and expect that you all have a super stupendous day, and I look forward to seeing with you and talking with you very, very soon. Thank you all for joining me today because it's my absolute pleasure to be here with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts about today's content and any inspirational words of wisdom you'd love to share. I'd also love if you would leave a 5-star review on whatever platform it is you're listening to this on, because it helps in creating even more awesome content. May your day be filled with only love and light, and I look forward to talking with you all real soon.